By the end of this video, you're going to learn the 4 ladders of growth that every artist will experience on that journey from 0 to 50,000 Spotify streams. And here's why this matters, because if you're a musician looking to attract record label interest, get booking agent inquiries, gain radio and press coverage, or become the face of a Spotify playlist, you need numbers. Plain and simple. You need streams, you need ticket sales, you need link clicks and social media traffic. These metrics are the currency that gatekeepers of the industry trade in. And as much as we want it to be about the musicality and the feels, the reality is that numbers matter. And the bigger your stats, the louder your voice is in this industry, the more leverage you have with other people. And so why should you listen to me? My name is Ayaz. I'm a social media strategist with over 12 years experience working for record labels. And I help musicians scale their EPs and their albums to multiple 6 and 7 figures in streams. And so everything I'm going to tell you is firsthand what works and what doesn't for my clients, and getting to those numbers that you want to get to. And so if the target is 50,000 streams, I've got the blueprint that's going to get you there. And so here's the plan. We're going to break down that 0 to 50K journey into 4 specific growth ladders, each with its own unique strategies and challenges. And so first up, 0 to 10K, that's the foundation phase, setting you up for growth. 10K to 25K is building momentum and maximizing your audience. 25K to 40K is about innovation, and 40K to 50K plus is about training the algorithm to suggest you to new people and attracting mass industry interest. And so let's dive into each one of these ladders to tackle what it takes to progress from one step to the next. And so first up, 0 to 10K streams. I'm going to be putting together a very exciting project in the weeks to come that's going to teach you how to run a 6-week song release strategy that you can follow exactly to a T. So 6 weeks is broken in half. 3 weeks before your song comes out, that's called pre-marketing, and 3 weeks after your song is out for driving traffic, that's called post-marketing. Your release day is exactly halfway in the middle. And so 3 weeks is 21 days. And so that's 42 posts to make about one song. Some of you are not even doing 10% of that. You're not even posting 4 times about your brand new song, and you're wondering why you're not at 10,000 streams. It's not about the number of posts per se, it's about the times that you mention with different stories that you have new music available, and you tell different narratives and different ways of reeling people in. And so in those first 3 weeks, you want to tell people what the song is about, why you chose the title, like who helped you produce it, where you were emotionally and geographically, which lyric is your favorite, like how the song came together. You tell all of those stories. So stay tuned for more information. I'm going to keep you posted on my next book, 0 to 10K streams in 60 days. The next ladder of growth is to go from 10K to 25K. And this starts by attacking the cultural conversation that people are thinking but too afraid to say. And so you take that meaning of your song, whether it's female empowerment, and you divvy that up into 21 different talking points that people have an opinion about. And once they realize your song is about female empowerment and you've been discussing it for 3 weeks, they're going to get involved in that conversation, and then they associate you with that topic and they'll want to go and listen to your music. And typically what happens is, as artists are aiming for 10,000 streams, they smash through and they hit 13,000 streams, 16,000 streams, 18, 19, 20,000 streams, because they were pushing themselves to do more than just a 6-week strategy. They went above and beyond to hit the next level. The third phase, from 25,000 streams up to 40,000 streams, is where you need to go beyond your existing audience. So you've probably maxed out by this point, and all the followers that you have and all your friends and family, you've really saturated everyone. And so there's 2 ways of going beyond the community you have into the community that you don't yet have. One is to do ads, and the other is to get collabs and shares. And so my favorite way of running ads is to use a software called HitmakerOS. They are an AI-powered Facebook ads platform with a data-driven system behind them. So they have website tools for pre-saves and to start a mailing list. And you also connect all of your streaming platforms and your social platforms to SymphonyOS. The AI machine learning understands who's connected to you already, and it finds consumers with similar listening characteristics who are not yet following you. So it's basically seeing who listens to you on Spotify, and it's finding similar people. Who follows you on Instagram finds similar people, and so on. But you can also target other artist fans, which is the most powerful feature of all about SymphonyOS. You can literally pick your biggest competitor, who's either a major artist or a small artist like yourself, and you can go after their fans. It's the most powerful system I've ever seen, and I want you to try it out. I'll even give you a 30-day trial of the Pro format using my link, which is symphonyos.co/all-about-helping. There's a little bit of code in there, so grab the link from the description below to try out SymphonyOS. That's the first way to scale a song up to 25 to 40,000 streams using ads. But most people turn on the ads at that 0 to 10K phase, and they're trying to attract the fans they don't have to drive the streams at that early stage. I don't love that approach. That's going after cold audiences who've never heard of you. I prefer to go after warm fans who've already heard of you. So that phase of driving those first 25,000, 40,000 streams, you're really training the algorithm, you're really training the platform what type of consumers to go after. That's going to lower your cost per action far more than a very expensive ad campaign. The second way is to do collabs and shares. So if you create such compelling content that it looks good for other people to share it to their feed, they get clout by putting you onto new audiences, you're going to benefit and they benefit. If you're working with a platform, a brand, if you're working with a featuring artist, when you collab post, you open up to their audience. And so there's new people discovering you for the very first time. And if you do this at scale consistently, finding new ways to tag them in stories, tag them in reels, new ways you say, part 1 of this content lives on my channel, part 2 lives on your channel, then part 3 lives on your YouTube, part 4 lives on my YouTube, and you create this breadcrumb approach, your fans are going to follow you across the internet to get all the breadcrumbs. And at this stage, you are growing a cross-platform strategy to increase your number of followers. And what that does is all these audiences then discover all your new music and your old music at the same time, and they join your ecosystem. And finally, if you've got this far, then you're ready to jump into that upper end of the 40K bracket. So many artists, they start this, but they get stuck. They hit a ceiling around 30,000 streams, 33,000, 36,000 are numbers that I'm just so used to seeing. And you need to break through and hit one level up and push yourself further than you've ever pushed. If you made a face and you got shocked when I said 42 posts to get to 10,000 streams, imagine how many it takes to get towards 50,000 streams. And if you're complaining already, saying, I don't have time for 100 posts, I don't have time to duet, react to every single person doing a challenge on my song, well, then you may not be worthy or deserving of those plays in the first place. If you can't even take the time to respond to that many comments or the time to notice and recognize that many fans using your audio in their content, shame on you. You have to be willing to serve at the highest level, no matter how draining it can be. This is not a one-way communication process. It's a two-way. And you need to be part of the community to serve your community. And the final ladder of growth to go from 40,000 streams to 50,000 streams is to use the algorithm to touch the hearts of the people. And when you build momentum on your side and you have that cross-platform approach, you're going to dominate everywhere you go. You've seen so many artists who look like they're blowing up out of nowhere, but really it was the last 10 to 15 posts that consistently did numbers, which enabled the algorithm to push them along. And then the radio platforms saw that, and playlists saw that. And they either support the current release you're working with, or they support the next release you're going to put out. I think there's so many artists who don't keep in touch with their contacts mid-campaign. And so everyone pitches their song at the beginning, and you typically never hear back. But very few artists have the discipline to give an update mid-campaign. and go to all those stakeholders saying, wow, we've crossed our first 25,000 streams. We'd still love to get some support from your radio station, from your playlist. Would you be open to considering us? Here are some new talking points that we've released this lyric video, and we've released this visualizer, and we've released this behind the scenes documentary, and this podcast with the featuring artist talking about the record. And the more talking points you give them, the more likely they are to bite and support either this release or your next release. And when I talk about these steps, again, many artists would jump right to level 4. They won't do phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. But you can't work that way. You have to pay your dues and climb the ladder of growth in order to hit those top rungs. You cannot skip any steps on this process. If you miss the 6-week song release strategy, if you miss the storytelling, if you miss serving your existing community, if you miss scaling with ads, don't try and expect the results of the algorithm. It takes all those fundamental building blocks to grow to the next level. And so there you have it. That is my roadmap of the 4 growth ladders that are going to help you on your journey from 0 to 50,000 streams. Each phase needs a different approach. So how are you going to establish a strong foundation to set yourself up for success? Just remember, it's a marathon and not a sprint. It is all about consistent growth. So I want you to let me know in the comments which ladder you're currently on and the biggest challenge you're facing at that stage. I'd love to help you, and I want you to watch this video next for an in-depth tutorial how to use Symphony OS, and consider signing up.